branch. Guide your path.
In reviewing Code Vein and other anime Souls-like, I opined that combining an anime aesthetics and story with gritty Souls-like combat was nearly impossible to pull off. And yet, the developers of AI Limit have managed to do just that, creating a great addition to the genre with some new ideas that help it stand out from the fold. The story starts off relatively simple. You are Arisa, a blader, an artificial intelligence given human form and sent to live among the humans of a conflict-stricken city in an attempt to better understand the concepts of emotion and evolution. The city itself is prey to two warring factions: the Church, who believe evolution can happen through faith and religion, and the Necros, who believe evolution is triggered through chaos and violence. It's a simple enough premise, yet it did manage to hold my interest throughout the 20 or so hours of playtime, in great part thanks to the excellent cast of supporting characters, from an amnesic botanist to a lost little girl to a coffin-wielding giant. You'll meet up with these NPCs at various points during your travels, and all have fully fleshed out quest lines that are worth seeing through, especially for those of you seeking out the true ending. Level design is great. Environments are huge and sprawling, both horizontally and vertically, and often when arriving in a new area, you are presented with a massive vista that you then have to slowly make your way through, unlocking shortcuts and save points along the way. All the areas are interconnected too, much like Dark Souls 3, and it never grew old to open a door or ride up an elevator to find yourself back in a new part of a previous biome. My only gripe would be that the colour palette is distinctly muted, with far too many muddy browns and greys. There are several more vibrant areas, especially towards the end of the game, but these are far too rare. Combat, on the other hand, is excellent. The typical stamina bar found in most Souls-type games is replaced here by a sync bar. The higher your sync level, the more damage you do and the more spells you can cast. Taking damage, on the other hand, decreases the bar, and inflicting damage increases it. This means that you can't just attempt to tank an enemy's attacks, as you'll end up with an empty sync bar and doing next to no damage. This mechanic means melee becomes a real strategic dance of dodging, parrying and counterattacking as you try to get your hits in without losing too much attack power. Even better, most bosses in the game have their own sync bar, meaning that if you play aggressively enough, you can weaken them considerably. AI Limit also takes a novel approach to death, in that when you die, you simply lose a percentage of your crystals or souls, that's it. No corpse run, no chance of getting them back, they are gone forever. What's interesting, however, is that this percentage is ultimately decided by you, thanks to whichever nucleus you decide to equip Arisa with. The trade-off is that the more crystals you keep on death, the less crystals you gain from defeating enemies, so it's up to you to switch up your loadout depending on where you are and who you're fighting. There's one particular area in the game, for example, where you have to navigate a series of platforms and bridges while being targeted by an automated defense system, as falling off a platform leads to instant death. Reducing the number of crystals lost seems the right way to go. There's a fair amount of different upgradable weapons. I usually lean towards strength builds in Souls-like games, and I found the greatswords here packed a particularly heavy punch, including some great special weapon skills, much like Elden Ring's Fable Arts, that could stagger or even cause infection on most bosses, a nasty status effect that tears off a great chunk of health and sync when it hits. That leads me to the only other gripe I have with the AI Limit. Souls veterans may find it rather too easy. The weapons hit hard, you can dodge and parry almost continually without stamina loss, and the penalty for dying can be mitigated with the nucleus that you have equipped. Healing items are plentiful, and not only that, but opening the inventory menu actually pauses the game, so you can pause and heal without risking getting hit. I am by no means a competent Souls player, but only 2 of the bosses gave me any trouble, and one of those 2 is a secret hidden boss that most players won't get to see at all. It's hard to fault AI Limit for being on the easy side, however, as it does everything else right, from an interesting story, great NPCs, fluid combat, and some innovative mechanics that made me change my playstyle to adapt. Unfortunately, it seems to have passed a bit under the radar, which is a shame because it's most definitely a Souls-like worth your time, and I will be placing it just below Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers in the A tier. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.